To be here with you and show you guys some serious fire. I am going to expose to you detailed information in their own words of Arizona DCS, Arizona Legislature. DCS is Arizona's version of CPS. Arizona Legislature and Arizona Governor taking part together in a child trafficking scheme. Now, many people would want you to think, oh, well, this is just a disgruntled parent. And that would be fine and dandy if they said I was a disgruntled parent, if I was angry or upset. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and enjoy the trolls, guys, because I've been tearing these guys up for so many years that we get these awesome trolls that try to knock down what we're doing and paid to make fake articles, and I'll prove that too. But you'll never see anything about me on Channel 4, on ABC, CNN, or any real news station. But let's do this. What we're going to do is blow the back out. Please share this with everybody, T-Tate. Let's get these numbers up. What I'm going to do, by God, is show you guys Arizona DCS, Arizona Legislature, and Arizona Governor all working together to traffic kids. And you're going to find out the real reason why they are upset with Trump. Many government officials in Arizona and, for instance, like California, if you look at who worked with Epic Times, he showed how a woman who I also know named Karina Fang, you're going to find that Pelosi Jr. Used CPS to steal her children and told her in a text message that he was going to do it beforehand. He also is connected to his mom, of course, who Pelosi, Nancy, her and her husband, I believe it is, rents out the property that holds CPS for over $40,000 a year. So they have direct access and connection to CPS. At the same time, he used CPS to take her children for exposing things that he did not want her to expose. So me, David Jose, I'm going to break down to you why Trump is really in trouble. Video, I'm going to show you how the Arizona Legislature, Governor, and please share this with everybody. Share this all over Facebook, everywhere you can, on Twitter. I'm going to show you the connection to them trafficking, but I'm not going to just say it. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to let you see it in their own words that they're trafficking. I'm going to let you see that they have full knowledge of the fact that they're not using a court of record. You're right, Brandy Murdoch. The parents of America are going to be free now. For very long, you guys have thought that the CPS system was here to help families. If you look at the report that came out from the Fed not too long ago, you'll see where it said that 88% of the children who are found in child sex trafficking came directly from CPS and foster care. They can't get 88% of the kids in foster care to graduate from high school. But somehow, 88% of the kids that they steal from parents unlawfully, which I proved yesterday on Twitter, they're able to get them in other places where they are being sex trafficked. Now, I'm going to pray real quick, and then I'm going to light fire like you've never seen before with real evidence in people's own words. Let them deny what I'm saying if they want. I don't think they will. Let me pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your truth. Thank you for allowing me to be able to have the ability to do the videos for these great people, Father, who have had their children taken. Father, I thank you for letting me go through the pain of having to fight through CPS, Father, and be able to learn and study and grow, Father, that I might be able to understand what's happening, to be able to research in the midst of the pain, Father, and to diligently find answers for the people. And Father, now that you have given these answers, Father, the people have an opportunity to be free. We have the right to reclaim our children. And we are asking you, Father, to be with us and deliver us. Let the people see the simple truth, Father. Protect them, help them, and bless them. Give all the crying mothers comfort, Father. Give all the fathers who are in pain comfort, Father. And return the children, Father, as you showed in Isaiah 49 you did when oppressive people made statutes and fake laws, Father, in order to steal children, and you recovered those children before. Do it again, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, guys, now we're going to take this thing to a level that you've probably never seen before. I like to show evidence and I like to show truth of everything that I say. Is CPS being used as a weapon? Does CPS knowingly get trained in Arizona to break the law and steal children without right? If we cannot find anything in the Constitution that says that people in Arizona can have their children taken without a jury, because everybody's promised a jury in Arizona. Article 6, Section 30 of the Arizona Constitution tells you that everybody in the state is able to have a court of record. A court of record, I'll show you guys real quick to kind of help you guys out, just so you have some knowledge about what's happening. This is the affidavit that I sent to Doug Ducey. Now, if you look here, it says courts of records and courts not of record. The former being those whose acts are judicial proceedings are enrolled and recorded for perpetual memory and testimony, power to fine and imprison for contempt. They generally have a seal. You'll notice most of your CPS cases in the whole country, they did not have seals because it's actually not a court of record. Now, you'll notice that the judge is working along with CPS and they ask them, hey, what do you want us to do to them? You want me to take their rights? You want me to just take their kids? You want me to do this? You want me to do that? And the judge will do whatever CPS usually says. Now, a court of record is a judicial tribunal having attributes and exercising functions independently of the person of the magistrate designated generally to hold it. So the person who they call the judge with the black robe on, that one is independent of the tribunal the person who is bringing the case. So the tribunal is independent of the magistrate. So if CPS was the tribunal, the magistrate couldn't work directly with them. Now, in every Black's Law after Black's Law 4 hides that definition. It also says, and proceeding according to the course of common law. They have to use common law and not statutes and codes. Now, I'm going to explain to you guys why this is important. And then I'm going to show you these people in their own words tell you that they are trampling your rights and stealing your kids and they're trafficking. Now, watch this, guys. So here we have the definition of the word adoption. Now, if the court of record, which Arizona Superior Court is supposed to be, if a court of record has to move by the common law and they're telling you they're adopting out your kids, there darn sure better be a such thing of adoption in the common law. Watch this. Because they're not moving under the common law, but they're supposedly adopting your children out, which they never did, guys, because courts of records are not statutory courts. Adoption. Legal process pursuant to state statute in which a child's legal rights, not lawful rights, legal rights and duties towards his natural parents are terminated. Now look here. Similar rights and duties towards his adoptive parents are substituted to take into one's family and the child of another and give him or her the rights, privileges, and duties of a child and heir. Watch this. This is going to get deep. The procedure is entirely statutory. So that means the legislature is writing the procedure, guys, even though they don't have the power to legislate over your rights. So they're telling you they're taking your rights from you, but they don't have the power to take away rights. That's Miranda versus Arizona case. The procedure is entirely statutory. So they made it up in statute with the legislature acting like they have the power to take people's rights from them. But in order to take a liberty interest based on the Constitution, you must have a trial by jury of your peers. The process is entirely statutory and has no historical basis in common law. In Black's Law 5, guys, you see where you look down here where it says private placement adoption. It is a private system, guys, that is not public. It has nothing to do with government. It is a system where they're partnering together to make money off of rehoming children, and they're not telling you that they have no power to throw you in jail over criminal acts. The only thing they're doing there is taking a kid out of one house and putting him in another house because they believe they have the power to. But they know they don't, and I'm going to prove it to you. So let's look at this one more time. Arizona Constitution says that a court must be a court of record if it's the Superior Court, if it's the Appeals Court, or if it is the, let me get this other document for you guys real quick just to help you out one more time. So I'm showing you, look at this. Courts of record, right? This is Article 6, Section 30 of Arizona Constitution. Courts of record, right? So I just showed you guys that a court of record moves under the common law. Watch this. The Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, and the Superior Courts shall be courts of record. So a court of record has to move by the common law. I'm going to show it to you guys one more time. It cannot move by statutes and codes. So if the Superior Court is to be a court of record, and I show you guys that they're telling you that they have a court with different rules, I can show you in Arizona Constitution where it clearly says that the legislature does not have the power to change the rules of evidence and the rules of court. So if they can't change a court from a superior court to something else, and they cannot write legislation over your rights, how are they telling parents that they took your kids by law and that they severed anybody's rights? Now, right here, I'm going to show you the real court they're using. The real court they're using, and this is in the affidavit that I gave to Doug Ducey that he cannot deny. In Section 3B75 of Title 42, which never been passed, 674 payment to states, it says 75% of so much of such expenditures, including travel and per diem expenses, as are for the short-term training of the current prospective foster, or now you're going to see everybody who's all included in the scam of taking kids. They're all getting paid by the Health and Human Services Secretary, and this is what they're calling 674 payment to states. Watch this. The adoptive parents or relative guardians, the members of the staff of state licensed or state approved child care institutions providing care, or state licensed or state approved child welfare agencies. That's the CPS providing services getting paid under the same money. To children receiving assistance under this part when they take your kids, and members of the staff of abuse and neglect courts. What the heck is abuse and neglect court? That's not a criminal court or a civil court. See, they're using what they call the superior court, which is to be a court of record. But right here, they're telling you really, they're bypassing that and they're using the staff of a neglect and abuse court. Oh, I'm going to show you, T-Tate. The type of court that handles these cases are not a court at all. And don't just go get your kids. Let the people of the world know what this video says, and we're all going to force Trump to make them give our kids back because they trafficked them. Trump was trying to arrest traffickers and got himself in a pickle because he didn't realize the deep state was trafficking all of our kids for billions of dollars. Arizona by itself is $1 billion agency, and I'm going to show you why they're $1 billion agency. Watch this, T-Tate. Who else is getting paid from the money? The agency attorneys. That's why they want the cases. Everybody share this. Get it on Facebook. Get it on Twitter. Get it in every group. Watch this. So the agency attorneys are being paid, attorneys representing the children or the parents. So everybody's attorneys paid by the same money. Guardian ad litems, oh, the one they say represent your children being paid by the same money from the federal, using our Social Security money that they're dwindling away. Watch this. Or other coin-appointed special advocates. That's CASA, guys, representing children in proceedings of such courts in ways that increase the ability of such current and prospective parents, guardians, staff members, institutions, attorneys, and advocates to provide support and assistance to foster and adoptive children and children living with relative guardians. So let's recap and look at this, and then I'm going to show you guys something that will blow your mind. I guarantee you, you will not see anything like this anywhere else. Now, what I just showed you guys was the fact that Arizona guarantees its people that it has to be a court of record, which means it has to move by the common law and not statutes and codes. But Arizona also tells you they're adopting out your children and severing your rights. But at the same time, the Black's Law 5 just showed you guys that there's no such thing of adoption in the common law. So I just proved to you guys that there's no adoption in common law, but they're tricking you into believing that your kids are being adopted, but they're just stealing them and they don't have any judicial format for that to happen. In order for them to take your kids, they would have had to prosecute you in a court of record, a criminal court. A jury said you were guilty of killing somebody, raping a kid, doing something crazy, and then the judicial court removes your kids because there's nowhere for them to go and no family. And then they can have them in the system and take care of them and get paid for it. What they're doing is bypassing the whole law, stealing the kids, and just giving them to different entities to all collect money off of them. Now, you might say, David, that sounds so extremely crazy. I can't believe that. There is no way that they're not using real courts. There is no way they're using courts with different rules that's making up new ways to do stuff that we've never seen before that's not following the Constitution. Yes, I will tell you 100% and put it on my life that that is what they're doing. But I'm not going to just tell you because it would be wrong for me to just tell you. I'm not going to say any darn thing that I cannot prove with their own words and with evidence and with documentation. So what I'm going to do, there's a book, and I can get people to write affidavits that tell you exactly what was done with this. Trump knows, and he's trying to get them. He didn't know how deep the deep state was. He didn't know how many people were involved. And this is why the legislature of Arizona is trying to block access to the legislature. They're trying to block access to an audit. They're trying to block access to everything because these states have been making most of their money off of CPS cases and child support enforcement cases. So what happens is that Trump goes and starts arresting traffickers and people who are raping kids. When he did that, a big number of them were foster parents or end buyers because remember, 88% of the kids who end up in sex trafficking come directly from CPS and foster care. That's from a Fed report that came out after we exposed what I'm getting ready to show you. And we put 2,000 affidavits. Anybody who's on my following can let you know this happened. We sent 2,000 affidavits to Lynn Johnson, who was Trump's trafficking counsel appointee. And shortly after that, she came out in Epic Times and told that she knows Trump's administration knows that CPS is trafficking and they wanted whistleblowers. That pissed everybody off who was in trafficking. So I got an assigned detail to me who were traffickers. I showed you guys the picture of their arrest. These people work with a woman named Connie Riguli in order to try to discredit what I were teaching. Yes, we will all get our kids back if we stand up and we show this evidence. This evidence is going to go to Donald Trump. Some of the evidence already went, and you're going to see Donald Trump is going to deal with these matters harshly. I'm telling you. But all the people have to stand up and put Donald Trump on notice so he knows exactly what's happening. So this video needs to go to him, and this testimony needs to go to him. Your testimony needs to go to him, and we will stop this. Now, is David Jose crazy? And is David Jose just making up things when he tells you guys that the CPS is using a court that's not really a court? The executive branch can't have a court. They know that they're stealing the children. They made a plan to do it. They taught their guardian ad litems to steal the kids. They told them that the courts aren't even really about right or wrong. See, a real court is about who's right and who's wrong. These courts are not about right or wrong. They're just about rehoming kids to make money as fast as possible. Now, once again, you might say that I'm lying, and I'm really emphasizing that because I'm going to let you see in their own words what they did to you. Watch this. They want to tell you that they're about saving your kids, guys, and it's about finding out who's wrong in a situation, and we want to make sure that you're not hurting your children. I'm going to tell you guys, it has nothing to do with that. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm sorry, and I'm trying to get my video down. Darn it. Hold on. There it is. Okay. What I'm going to do, if you look here, there's ARS code here. ARS-8612. Congratulations, you have learned your first acronym. There are many more to come. Arizona law also provides that private individuals can initiate dependency proceedings. ARS 8-41, right? ArizonaCentral.com, Brewer, and they're quoting your article. So this is what you call the Arizona the Pima County, Arizona Guardian Ad Litem's handbook. They scrubbed this off the internet because I exposed what they were doing. And it upset them so bad that they ended up... Sorry, I'm trying to get this screen to go down so you guys can... I don't know if it's affecting what you guys see, but it's definitely affecting what I see. Okay, so what we're going to do... Darn it, how do I get the screen off? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get the screen off. What I'm going to do is show you that this is not a court of record. I'm going to show you that it's their own created type of court. And I'm going to show you that they're stealing your kids on purpose and that the legislature unlawfully wrote statutes to help these people to steal your kids. The governor signed off on it. And this is why Donald Trump is in trouble, because he's going after trafficking. And he didn't know that the whole Arizona CPS, DCS, the governor, and the legislature was in on the trafficking. He got himself caught up in a pickle. This is why they don't want to let the audit be done for the ballot boxes and all of the Dominion stuff, because the legislature is involved in the trafficking. DCS is involved in the trafficking. So they don't need him in office because he's arresting people doing what they do. Now I'm going to prove it. While juvenile court is technically a part of the Superior Court, remember I told y'all that the Superior Court is to be a court of record? They have rules they have to follow, and they have to give parents juries if they were going to do that. They have to give parents court cases that aren't delayed, and they must be open and not private. Well, this is what's happening. The Pima County Juvenile Courthouse is housed in a separate building on Ajo Way near Keno Hospital, now called UMC South. Throughout the state, the juvenile court operates, here we go guys, under a different set of rules and procedure than those in other civil proceedings. So they're not really a civil court, guys, and this is how they're getting rid of your right under the Constitution to have juries in civil cases. It's not a case. You're not even going to a real court. The executive branch can't have a court, guys. It's impossible. It's a separation of powers issue. Watch this. Oops. Let me go back. Juvenile court also has its own culture. You can't have your own culture in a court of record, guys, or way of doing things that is less formal and in many ways more innovative than that of other courts. So they're showing you guys that the rules of court are different. They're showing you that they're not going under the same things. They're showing you that they're not what you think they are. Sorry. So let's read more. In theory, the juvenile court is not in the business of finding fault. Well, any court of record, guys, is here to find who's guilty, who's wrong, who did something that would activate the court to go after them. Assessing blame. The court definitely gives blame out. It says you were wrong or the other person wrong. Watch this. Or meting out punishment. They're not here to even mete out punishment, guys. Rather, the juvenile court is interested in protecting the child from immediate harm and in providing the services. See, they're a business that provides services for money, guys. And what happened is they're saying that they have to protect the child, but there's been no criminal court or no real court of record that says you did anything wrong. So they're just initiating cases to take your kids, and their whole goal is to provide services that everybody can get paid off. The attorney generals have contracts with CPS where they're getting paid tons of money. The legislature creates the fake laws to let them do this, and not in real courts, and they're not telling you. And here they're spilling the beans on everybody. Watch this. Then the juvenile court is empowered to find an alternative, permanent, or safe home for the child. So the legislature says, hey, we're going to create this thing called the Neglect and Abuse Court. And all it does is rehomes children, and we get paid administrative costs and fees from people's money and Social Security if we take kids and put them in this system. Now, watch this, guys. This is going to blow your mind. We say that the court is not about parental fault. So you're in a courtroom, they call it, and it's not a court. And they're telling you we're taking your kids because we think you did something wrong. But the whole freaking court is made without caring about who's at fault. It's not about fault. They just want to take the kids. Now watch this. We say the court is not about parental fault. That is certainly true under the law. So they know lawfully their court doesn't have the jurisdiction to even tell if you did anything wrong or not. That is certainly true under the law, guys. Now, however is bad. Anytime you tell something that is lawful or a standard, and then you say however after, you're going to show how you're doing wrong. So they're going to expose themselves. This is certainly true under the law. However, the dependency process is a terrifically human. It's full of error and wrong, right? They know it. While the law may say otherwise, they do it again. They're teaching them to say, screw the law. Let's just take their kids. While the law may say otherwise, right? In actual practice, what they're doing, fault, blame, shame, attitude, and a host of other technically irrelevant considerations play a huge role in determining what will or will not happen to a child in the court process. Now, in a court of record, they must come and bring evidence that you did wrong. Somebody must swear under penalty of perjury by affidavit with oath or affirmation that somebody was harmed and you broke the law. But what they do in their court is they say, while the law may say otherwise, in our practice, in actual practice with what we do, fault, blame, shame, and attitude is what we use, and a host of other technically irrelevant considerations. See, they know in the court that they use, the law is irrelevant. All these things that they like to do, they like to use fault, blame, and shame, and attitude. They're getting attitudes with parents, making them look crazy, driving them into depression, saying, look, I think you're just crazy. I want you to take a mental test. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. You can't see your kid. Say another word. I'll never let you see your kid again. Guys, they're shaming parents. Oh, you did this, you did that, or somebody said you did this, or your family don't like you. Oh, I don't like your attitude. We gonna keep your kids. All these things are technically irrelevant in a court of record, but they say in their own trainings, guys, that this plays a huge role in determining what will or will not happen to a child in the court process. Guys, these people are stealing your kids using technically irrelevant ideas and something that's not even a court and making you feel shame. They got y'all out here killing yourselves many times. Parents are literally committing suicide for not having their kids. And these people are in a secret document telling that, look, we're going to steal their kids. And even though the law say we can't, we're going to do it anyway. Ha, ha, ha. You see how this is, guys? This is their own freaking document. I didn't bring you anything that is not the law. Hey, Sherry, I didn't bring you anything that's not in their own words. I didn't bring you anything that I cannot prove. I'm showing you in their own document where they're teaching to steal kids based off of irrelevant things that don't matter and is not lawful. And they tell you, even though the law say otherwise, we're going to do it. Now, let's see more. So they say none of the participants, right, including judges, so they all working together, case managers, therapists, and lawyers are immune from visceral reactions to parental behavior. That will, no doubt, include you as well. That's a psychological technique to get them to believe that it's okay because the judges are doing it, the case managers are doing it, the therapists and lawyers are all on the same team using things not the law to steal your kids. So I guess it's okay, right? Please, guys, give me some feedback and let me know if you're seeing this. My keyboard on my phone is stuck up and I can't get it down and is blocking me from seeing some of the stuff. So I need to know if you guys are seeing this or if you can see the comments. Please let me know if you guys can see the comments. I'm sorry, please comment and let me know if you're understanding this, if it's making sense to you. Okay, you can hear me. Let me know if it's making sense. Give me some thumbs up or something if it's making sense. And then I'm going to go through, guys, and I'm going to blow the rest of this out. And then I'm going to show you how it went down. Okay, perfect. Watch this. Dependency proceedings are usually initiated by the state. Now, this is a lie. It's not the state for real. Through the Arizona Department of Child Safety. Now, the Arizona Department of Child Safety is ran by a director who I showed you guys yesterday was made a federal agent. So the state isn't moving anything through DCS because it's a federal agent that's a private entity that's making money without law. Up until this past May, the Department of Economic Security, DES, through Child Protective Services, DCS, handled child protection matters. Because of a variety of factors, the governor and state legislature abolished DCS and created a new agency, DCS, right? So you can see that this is clearly Arizona's training manual for DCS. Now, I showed you guys that these people were trafficking, right? I showed you that they were trafficking in their own words. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this video around, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to another place. Now, if I have done a good job, that was page 17. Page 17 of the Guardian Ad Litem Handbook. You're not going to be able to get it most likely now, because what happened was that when I came out and I first exposed this to everybody, Arizona pulled it off of the internet so that people could no longer see it, which is really dirty. But I want them to say that this is not the Guardian Ad Litem Handbook, and I want them to say that they did not do this. And I dare any of them to do it so we can get them all arrested. But that is from the Guardian Ad Litem Handbook from Pima County. Now, I just proved to you guys that these people are using something that is not a court of record. Donald Trump and the U.S. Marshals will definitely find your freaking kids if they've been stolen by CPS and they're trafficking them, and we all make them have notice. You can see that General Flynn is now very highly concerned. He did a tweet about a case in Arizona where they stole someone's kids and sent them out of the country. Guys, just know some fire is coming, and they are moving in a way that is unbelievable. There are some people who are fighting. That is the Guardian Ad Litem Handbook. Research Bear, you won't be able to get it because they scrubbed it from the internet after I exposed it. So you won't be able to get it from that. Now, what I want to do, guys, the 1946 Administrative Procedures Act, we can see where the government had a problem in the federal because agencies were actually running court cases or perceived court cases that were not courts because the agency can't have a court. And what happened was that it was such a problem that the government had to actually stop people from taking the people into courts that they were not supposed to be in, tricking them to believe they were real courts. Now, I don't want you to just take my word for it. We're going to look this up and look up what's called the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946. And I'm going to let you see that what I'm saying, many people who were hired to stop me from exposing these things to you guys, they're upset because I show these things and they're so clear that nobody can deny it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the screen where I show you guys, let me see, where I show you guys what's happening. And I'm going to show you the Wikipedia Administrative Procedures Act of the United States. The Administrative Procedures Act, right? APA, Public Law, 79-404, 60 Stat 237, right? Enacted June 11th, 1946. So when I show you stuff, I'm going to show you and I'm going to give you evidence and I'm going to give you knowledge of how you fight it. I'm not just going to say, hey, well, look, guys, this is some stuff that's happening and I don't want to show you guys that what I'm saying is true with evidence and information that you can stand on in law. I'm literally going to go here and break stuff down and help you to see that they tell on themselves. So this was put here because, or it is the United States statute, federal statute, right, that governs the way in which administrative agencies, CPS is an administrative agency of the federal government, which remember I proved to you guys that Arizona said that the director of CPS can be a federal agent for any actions of or for the furtherance of any actions of the department. Federal government of the United States may propose and establish regulations and grants U.S. federal courts oversight over all agency actions. So now I'm going to show you how the Superior Court and the Supreme Court of Arizona Yes, that is the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946. What's going to happen is, guys, is I'm going to show you that what happened is that the president and the government realized that the people were getting scammed out of their property and their rights by agencies who act like they were courts. They were faking. They act like they had jurisdiction, but they really didn't, in order to just make a heist of the people's goods. I'm going to prove it to you. Beginning in 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt and the Democratic Congress enacted several statutes that created new federal agencies as part of the New Deal legislative plan. Established Democratic Congress. Let's pay attention. Federal agencies as part of the New Deal legislative plan established to guide the United States through social economic hardship caused by the Great Depression. However, the Congress became overly concerned about the expanded powers that these autonomous guys, they're working on their own, federal agencies now possess, resulting in the enactment of the APA to regulate, standardize, and oversee the federal agencies. Now, remember I told you guys that the federal agencies, or CPS CPS is a federal program partnership under Title 42 U.S.C. 674, payment to states, where all of them are working together, making money together. Watch this. Although each U.S. government agency is constituted within one branch of government, judicial, legislative, or executive, an agency's authority often extends into functions of other branches. That means that they're violating the separation of powers that's in the Constitution. This is why they have to be private entities that are independent, not connected to the government. Without regulation, that can lead to unchecked authority, like CPS, in a particular area of government, violating the separation of powers. See, I'm not just telling you they're violating the separation of powers. I'm showing you. A concern that Roosevelt himself acknowledged. To provide safeguards, the APA creates the framework for regulating agency and their roles. Now, watch this, guys. To require agencies to keep public informed of their organization procedures and rules. Arizona hides. Ooh, a cup of coffee. If you give me a cup of coffee and watermelon, I'll do this every day. Watch this. To provide for public participation in the rulemaking process, for instance, through public commenting. Now, y'all realize that Miranda versus Arizona says that where rights in the Constitution or preserved in the Constitution are involved, there should be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate it or get rid of it, right? To establish uniform standards for the conduct of formal rulemaking and adjudication. Notice they're adjudicating your cases, and they have these rules for how they do things in the actual CPS courts, and it is made by the legislature, Arizona Legislature, United States Congress. These people have taken part in creating a system to be able to make federal funds off of stealing your children. This is why Arizona Legislature is not trying to let the votes be counted, because they don't want Trump in there, because Trump is arresting pedophiles. Pedophiles and people who are traffickers are getting 88% of the kids they have from CPS and foster care. That was shown in a federal report. So there is a big connection, and this is why Ducey, who is a Jesuit, and the governor of Arizona, Brown, who was the governor of California, taking more kids than anywhere before other than Arizona, and the governor of New York, who was also a Jesuit, were all in trouble for taking kids out of nowhere. Now, guys, I told you they're not using real courts. The executive branch often does pickup orders to pick up your kids without power. How is the executive branch saying, hey, judge, we want you to let us go pick up this kid. We're going to write a pickup order. We're going to go snatch the kid up, and then you say it was okay later. Now, the judge is working under an executive branch program as well, which violates the separation of powers. So the judge can't be working together with CPS, who all are coming together and saying, let's just take these people kids, and they all make money off the process, and they're not using courts of record, right? So let's see if I'm telling you guys the truth. So under the Administrative Procedures Act, they told us that there's a standard of judicial review. If you get in a CPS case, you can actually appeal until you get to a point where there's a judicial review. Isn't that funny, guys, how that works? The first court that you were in is not really a court. It's not a court of record. An agency called CPS initiated the action, just like I showed you, but they are not a court. So how is the agency, who's not a court, telling you they're going to take your kids, and if you don't shut up and sign this paper, they're going to keep your kid away from you forever? They force you to write a contract with them, or they write a fake one themselves, knowing that they were doing it unlawfully and that they were blaming you and shaming you in order to take your kids, even though the law says they can't do that. They literally stole your kids and nobody knew. But thank God that I went through the pain I went through, because God led me directly to this, right? There's people who helped me along the way, like Michi Slay and David Straight and different people, Chris Hallett. But what I've done is brought together information, simplified, showing that Arizona is trafficking with evidence, guys. Now, when Arizona takes your kids, you'll see in a lot of the paperwork, they quote Title 42. I'm going to show you guys, if you remind me in a second, that Title 42 never passed. If you guys are understanding this and it is making sense and it is blowing your mind right now, please give me a thumbs up or a like or something to let me know that this is resonating with you. Standard of judicial review, guys. Watch this. The APA requires, watch this. Nope, it is the same in every state, Brandy Murdoch. You guys will be free and you're going to have your kids back. God is going to blow them away with truth. Watch this. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Watch this. The APA requires that to set aside actions that are not subject, now watch this, guys, to formal trial-like procedures. Now, I got to ask you guys, what is a trial-like procedure? Because they're telling you they're taking your kids and you're going to go to trial. But this right here says that the executive branch is doing possibly trial-like procedures. So what if they're bringing you into a courtroom, telling you you're in court, you think you're in a trial, but the whole time they know you are in trial-like procedures? Let's keep reading. The court must conclude that the regulation is arbitrary and capricious and abuse of discretion, or otherwise not in accordance with the law. See, didn't they tell you in the Guardian ad litem handbook that they know the law says otherwise, but they're going to do this anyway? They're stealing your kids in an arbitrary and capricious way because there's no real law that say they can do it. But because you don't know, they're just going to run your kids out, take them, say they adopted them, even though there's no adoption in the common law. But the three main courts in Arizona say that they have to go as a court of record, which means they have to use the common law, but there's no adoption in the common law. They didn't adopt your kids out, guys. They tricked you. However, Congress may further limit the scope of judicial review of agencies. And this is why in my affidavits, I go to the original public law that the legislature made, and I don't go to Title 42 because Title 42 was never passed. So let's keep reading. You're going to see how Arizona Legislature, Arizona DCS, and Arizona Governor has trafficking. T-Tate, when nobody knows the law, if you go take your kids back, they're going to shoot you with a gun and kill you. And they're going to say you're a crazy person who took your kids back because the people have not been educated to know these things I'm showing you now. Your best bet would be to show the law, show the truth, let the world see it, challenge your legislature openly, challenge Donald Trump openly, challenge your governors openly and all their attorneys to come tell us if these things are true. Come tell us if you're using a court of record against the kids. Come tell us if you got secret manuals teaching people to take kids. If you don't realize, T-Tate, these people have police officers with guns also contracted with them that believe that you went through a real court to get your kids taken. I'm going to show you that that's not the case. But until you educate the police like I do, I walk up to the police and I teach them that they're breaking the law. And they're like, holy crap. I walk up to the sheriff and I show them the law. I go to the attorneys and I go to the legislature and I say, listen, I'm going to show you guys the law that they're breaking, and these people say they're going to get me killed over this. But your kids' lives are so important that I'll put my life on the line, and I don't care because my kids are not as valuable, more valuable than your kids. We're equal. My kids are just as valuable as your kids. So I can't say I love my kids and I want my kids to be with me and they deserve to be with me, but I won't teach the state that they're stealing your kids so that we all can have our kids. That's the sacrifice that we have to make. So I am willing to die for all of us to have our kids back. If my kids get returned, your kids get returned, I'm happy. If our kids don't get returned, I'm not happy. If I just get mine and you don't get yours, it's not fair. So what we have to do is do what our legislature, our forefathers told us to do, which is to educate these people, show them the laws, and hold them to it in front of everybody. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm proving that Arizona legislature, Arizona DCS, Michigan legislature, Michigan CPS, Michigan governor, they're all taking part in trafficking. And you can take your state and just put the name of your state in there, and they're doing it too. And I'm not just saying this, I'm proving it to you so you can have the knowledge and understanding to give this to the government officials so Trump is forced to do something. He wants to do something, but he don't have enough people saying, Trump, do something. So when I show y'all the law and show you that they're tricking you and using fake courts to steal your kids and acting like, oh, this was really a court case, when we're done with the work that is our duty to do, by force and by God, our kids will come back. Because all of this forces upon the reasonable mind that these people are cheating and they're telling. Watch this. However, Congress may further limit the scope of judicial review of agency actions by including such language in the organic statute. So when I go to 1935 Social Security Act and I show that they cannot, no, it's not hard to get our voices heard if we stand up now. The door is wide open. Trump is asking for information of what's going on. He is still the president. He hates trafficking. General Flynn hates trafficking. Josh Barnett hates trafficking. These people ain't freaking playing. We sent 2,000 affidavits to Trump. He came out and said that they know CPS is trafficking and asked for the parents to actually give testimony as whistleblowers. He asked for CPS to have whistleblowers. But there were agents inside of the movement who made fake news articles, who worked with the biggest attorney in the movement, who helped write the law to take your kids. So let's start watching what we're doing, guys, and be wise. Let's not be angry and aggressive. Let's not go take our kids back, even if you know where they are. Don't do that. Don't let them make you look like uncivilized people. Be calm, be loving, but stand on the law like there's no tomorrow, and you will have victory. I promise you. When I told 75 people that when I told the people they'll start getting their kids back, and God allowed me to help about 75 kids come back now within 2 years, I didn't start out knowing how exactly everything was going to happen, but I had faith in God, and I knew what he said in the Bible in Isaiah 49, right? I saw how he let David go and get their kids back and the people who fought with him. And so God gives victory, and I knew that if we get the people to stand, victory will come. So I'm showing you guys how to do the same thing. Don't be aggressive people. Be law standing and abiding people. These people don't use the law, so they're very easy to defeat. So let's stand together, show the truth, challenge these people, and I promise you, if you share this video like crazy, you let everybody know what's happening, Donald Trump will help you get your kids back. I promise you. I promise you. I'm not playing, y'all. I'm not telling you stuff I don't know. I'm not telling you stuff that I'm not in the middle of and involved with. I'm telling y'all the God honest truth that there's no reason for me to even be connected to all these people, but I am, thank God. But watch this. So the original law, 1935 Social Security Act that I showed y'all that said that federal agents can't take kids against the objections of the parents, that showed you that when you didn't want them to take your kids, they trafficked them and stole them. That's why that's in all the affidavits I do. Because the courts start realizing, like, holy crap, these people put me on notice that I stole their kids. And they knew the dang law that said I couldn't do it. They totally got rid of my authority because where the Congress gave the authority for CPS to exist, they also said don't take people's kids if they say no. You are not allowed to just go snatching people's kids. Watch this. To set aside formal rulemaking or formal adjudication for which procedures are trial-like, a different standard of review allows courts to question agency actions more strongly. So the courts are questioning the agency actions. That means the agency was doing it, like CPS, not the court. Are y'all seeing this? For such formal actions, agency decisions must be supported by substantial evidence after the court reads the whole record, which can be thousands of pages long. Ever wonder why your CPS court cases got these thousands of pages? Unlike arbitrary and capricious review, substantive evidence review gives courts leeway to consider whether an agency's factual and policy determinations were warranted in light of all the information before the agency at the time of decision. Now, this does not count when they steal your kids without right, and then they try to say, oh, we had a whole court case, we found something to say wrong about them after searching for a year or two, and now we're just going to use that to sever their rights and take their kids. That is a fraud. Accordingly, watch this. Arbitrary and capricious review is understood to be more differential to agencies than substantial evidence review is. Arbitrary and capricious review allows decisions to stand as long as agency can give reasonable explanation for its decision based on the information at the time. That don't work when we show the law says they were never supposed to take kids. Now, I told you they're not using real judicial courts. Some may try to laugh for me saying that, but now I'm going to go hard on them. In contrast, the courts tend to look much harder at decisions resulting from trial-like procedures because they resemble actual trial court procedures. So they'll bring you as an executive branch agency into something called a neglect and abuse court that's not really a court. And then they'll make it look like a trial court, but it's really just trial-like procedures that's not really a court. And then they're going to prove it to you. But Article 3 of the Constitution reserves the judicial powers for actual courts. So they brought you into agency hearings that were not courts, making you believe that they judicially took your kids from you, making you believe they had the power to take your kids from you, but they were freaking acting like a court. Now, that sounds kind of crazy, so don't let me say it. Watch this. Accordingly, courts are strict under the substantial evidence standard when agencies act like courts, because being strict gives courts the final say. Wait, so when they did this agency hearing, there was no court saying anything? It was CPS pretending that it was court? Preventing agencies from using too much judicial power in violation of the separation of powers? Guys, there's no such thing of too much judicial power when they should not have been using judicial power in the first place. Guys, I am showing you here that the Arizona legislature has made statutes that so-called allowed Arizona CPS to take kids, allowed Arizona CPS to work along with other entities like psychologists, doctors, lawyers, and different people in order to steal your kids from you against your rights. And what they did is that they brought you before what they call a neglect and abuse court that they just told you is not the same as a court of record. On top of that, what they did is they snuck and wrote legislation to make the head of CPS they made the head of CPS, the Department of Child Safety, a federal agent. And when they made him a federal agent, the law clearly says that a federal agent is not allowed to take children over the wishes of the parent. So guys, can somebody tell me, excuse me, can somebody tell me how the government of Arizona has taken part in writing statutes that go against your rights? Kelly Townsend tried to put in legislation to say that it should be a felony if CPS wants to lie on you to steal your kids. And the legislature took part in the fraud because they were looking at their phones. There's video. They were looking at their phones and they wouldn't even agree and vote to have the law put in to stop Arizona CPS, DCS is what it's called, from stealing your kids using fraud by CPS. So in other words, CPS can come in, lie on a parent, take your kids with lies as they showed you in their secret handbook, where it said that even though the law says otherwise, blame, shame, attitude, and all these other things are going to have even though they're technically irrelevant and irrelevant under the law, they're going to use those in order to decide what will happen to a child. So the Supreme Court said nobody can take your child without due process of law, proving that you did something wrong, and that parents have a fundamental liberty interest to have their children with them, and you can't just take it. So what we're going to do is look at 8-453. We're going to look at the Arizona statutes, and then I'm going to end this video. Arizona General Provisions, Department Purpose, right? Department Purpose. And we're going to look at what it says. Director, appointment. The governor shall appoint the director of the Department of Child Safety, right? At the minimum, the director shall have administrative experience in the protection of children, maltreatment, and in family support, qualifications that enable director to manage affairs, right? So this is what they say the director is to have. Now I'm going to go to 8-453, the powers and duties of the director. And I'm going to show you guys their fraud. Watch this. The director shall, right, carry out the purposes of the department prescribed in 8-451. Watch this. Provide transparency by being open and accountable to the public for the actions of the department. They're not doing that. They're hiding the missing kids, scrubbing the records, doing all this dirty stuff. But what I want to show you guys is they cooperate with other agencies of the state, county, municipal agencies, faith-based organization, and community social services agencies, if available, to achieve the purpose of this chapter. So they're working with all these other entities, right? Now, what I'm going to do is show you the big bad fraud they're doing. Watch this. Cooperate with Superior Court in all matters. So they're working with the Superior Court by legislative fiat. And what else? Look at 15. The director is, or shall, act as an agent of the federal government in the furtherance of any functions. Not some, any. All the functions they're doing on behalf of the federal government. So in other words, guys, they are not a what you call state entity that is ran by the public state. They are a private entity that has been trampling the people's rights, stealing your kids without law, and I'm showing you the evidence that Arizona courts, Arizona governor, Arizona DCS, and Arizona legislature has taken part in a trafficking scheme to make money off of federal programs. It is federal funding fraud, and you're going to see that they're going to collapse now, and they're going to get prosecuted for running this scam and stealing the money of the American people by taking $1 billion worth of kids a year. In David Farnsworth meeting, they told us that Arizona was $1 billion agency. I praise you guys for taking the 58 minutes. It's going to be an hour before I shut this video off, to come watch this video and to learn and study and to see the truth that the Arizona legislature is upset with Trump because Trump goes after traffickers. It is proven now that 88% of the kids who end up in trafficking come directly from CPS and foster care. CPS and foster care. 88% of the kids come from CPS and foster care. Donald Trump went after trafficking. Donald Trump is affecting the funding of the people in government and the people who are traffickers. You can't have CPS losing all these kids to traffickers and it not be on purpose. 88% of the kids in trafficking come from CPS and foster care. Guys, that is a mind-blowing number. All right? Arizona takes about 1,000 kids per month. About 1,000 kids per month, guys. And notice that most of the parents are not getting arrested. Most of the parents are not in prison. Now, when we come out and fight and we expose what they're doing, they like to try to make warrants and arrest us after the fact, years down the road. The reason they do that is because they know we know about the fraud they've committed and how they've stolen and trafficked kids. The trafficking of kids is just moving them from the jurisdiction they're supposed to be in with their parents to another jurisdiction. That doesn't necessarily mean sex trafficking, even though they have been involved with a lot of that too. Now, guys, be calm. The kids are coming home. God is going to bring our lovies back, guys. It's going to happen. That's why I'm not worried. That's why I have agents who get paid to come after me and make up fake things to say I did things wrong, and I've never been arrested a day in my life. But this is why they do it, because they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know your power. They don't want you to have victory, and they don't want you to have your kids back. The more kids that come out of the system, the less there are kids for them to have sex with, traffic, use for organs, all these different things that they're doing. Okay? So I'm bringing you guys the hard facts. I'm saying the things that people are afraid to say. I'm saying the things that get people killed. Nancy Schaefer, senator, lost her Senate seat, ended up getting killed over this. Linda Collins Smith in Arkansas had court cases. She had proof that her husband, ex-husband, was having sex with kids in the chambers, and they were CPS kids. That's her own words to her people. Also, you can document and see that her husband got in trouble for extracurricular activities on his work laptop. She was making the claim that he was having sex with kids, and they videotaped it in his chambers on the laptop. She ended up killed, right? Also, the senator next door who had evidence also had a remonstrance and documentation from a gentleman who was a police officer named David, where they served this evidence to Linda Collins Smith and, or the evidence of the trafficking went to Linda Collins Smith and the, sorry, got a little dizzy. The government next door. What ends up happening is that the legislative body member in the state, one state over, he ended up getting killed too a couple of days later. So guys, you can get killed for this, but I don't give a freak. We got to do what's right. We got to teach the truth. Life is not worth living if you're not going to stand for the people and do what God will tell you to do. God tells me to speak for the people who don't have a voice. That's why I never made a negotiation with these people. And I told them, I am not kissing your butt to see my kids, to get my kids back. I will fight you, and I will teach all the people, and we will come together and stop you. So once again, this lesson, this video, this proof, this evidence is yours. Share it with everybody. Arizona legislature, Arizona governor, Arizona DCS, Arizona courts are working together, trafficking your kids, bypassing the Constitution because they're making millions and millions of dollars. Arizona DCS is $1 billion agency per year. Share this with everybody, guys. Show them the evidence. Quit letting people think you're crazy because there's no evidence for you to show, or because you don't know how to tell them exactly what's happening. You can't figure it out. You can't speak it to them in a way that shows the law and the evidence. Use my words, guys. Show your family the truth. Show your friends the truth. Show them what's happening. But this video is yours. I love you. I thank you for coming on. You guys are the best. You are powerful. You are wonderful. And I want to thank you for standing. I want to thank you for fighting. I want to thank you for seeing the truth. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. May God bless us all, and may we all see our children soon. Let me figure out how to get this screen off again and end this video. All right? I thank you guys so much. I will catch you later. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm probably going to be on here for a couple of seconds trying to get this video off. So, I wish you guys well, and I ask you guys to be praying that God will continue to give us this amazing victory. Okay? I will catch you guys later. Y'all be cool. Peace. Y'all can hang around for a second while I get this video off. Come on, video. Once again, I apologize, guys. There we go. Okay, how do I end the video? All right, there we go. I'll catch you guys later.